David Benavidez gets it done over David Morrell Jr. as predicted here at the Punch Report. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. In this video, we just break down the fight card, primarily the main event. Let's just get into the content. First and foremost, thank you for being here. Good morning. Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon to be notified when the videos drop. Amazing night of fights. I'm not going to sit and pretend like it isn't. And why would I? That would be weird. I dropped 3 predictions yesterday. We went 2-1. Shout out to Seth Fulton. One thing I didn't consider in that prediction is that they were fighting 4 pounds up. He felt better there, obviously, and he was able to mute and neutralize largely Brandon Figueroa's output. But, for that second prediction that I offered, Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Angel Fierro, Fight of the Year candidate, 2 of those on this card. All action, all work. The nod went to Isaac Cruz. I did not make a prediction on that bout, but I did say that it's going to be all action, and that's how you should lead off this particular card, and that's exactly what they did. Moving on to the main event. David Morrell Jr., David Benavidez. I'm shocked, and I'm upset, and I'm disappointed. And I'll explain that in just a second. Congratulations to both men. I'm going to maintain my position. I don't like seeing either one of them up at 174, 175. They're sensational at 168. They're difference makers at 168. Benavidez being a multi-time belt holder down there. Morrell having his success too. For Morrell, this is his second foray at 175 pounds with a decision victory and a decision loss. In both fights, the power is not carrying up to 75. That's a reality. The power is not carrying up to 175. You have to consider what you're going to do next against a bigger opposition. Here's my breakdown of the bout. If you guys take an opportunity, you look at the last video that I did, I offered my prediction for this fight. I said David Benavidez would win by either late stoppage or unanimous decision. I said that the size would make a difference, and I want to start with that. Morrell came in a little bit taller. A lot of people said that, David Benavidez's size advantage is going to be gone, and so this is going to be problematic for him. And that wasn't the case because naturally Benavidez is a bigger guy, and it would show in the fight. And I said as such. His size played a major factor in the fight. He was really able to bully David Morrell Jr. in a lot of spots. Additionally, I said in my previous video that the high guard is quite possibly the worst defense that you can deploy against David Benavidez. You have to have variety there. You have to show different looks. You have to be offensively aggressive. One of the tools that you really need to be highly effective against David Benavidez is a sharp jab. You have to go upstairs and downstairs. Morrell Jr., his first round jab looked cool, but then he reverted back to that shitty jab I told you guys about in the Kolodziej fight. His jab was just awful in that fight. So he went with a high guard, and he paid for it. He ate right hands on repeat. Go look at the last video, and I said, if he can't figure out a way to adjust to the right hand, he's going to get folded like laundry. And that's what took place. Really excellent fight, even though I just shit all over David Morrell. David Benavidez is a more dynamic fighter who has more tools available. I'll give athleticism to Morrell Jr., but it doesn't matter if you got to go up against a guy where that margin is small and he's bigger than you are and he's a better combination puncher than you are. And one of the things I failed to mention about David Benavidez in my previous video was he's extremely durable. Until you can show me that you can knock him down and hurt him and discourage him and all this extra shit, it's not likely I'm going to pick against him depending on the opponent that I see. And it wasn't going to be David Morrell, and that's no knock on David Morrell. Late knockdown in the 11th, good shot by Morrell. Gloves touched the canvas for Benavidez. He was never hurt. I just think it was a well-timed punch versus overcommitment on the front foot, and then you get knocked down. Not enough to change the dynamics of the fight. Morrell needs to develop a jab. That's point blank, period. His jab sucks. And if he sees this video or you know him or whatever, you can tell him his jab is terrible. And he can go back and watch the last 2 fights and then prove me wrong. His jab is absolutely terrible. David Benavidez outlanded him in the jab category, outlanded him in power punches overall total, and had the better eye-catching shots. He was a better fighter. Now, let me tell you where I get upset. It's 7 my time, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hopped on YouTube and I saw a lot of commentary about the young Morrell, too soon, inexperienced. They're a year apart in age. Morrell 27, Benavidez 28. Yeah, and I mentioned yesterday that the experience inside of the squared circle would favor Benavidez. He would be more ready for this challenge than David Morrell. But you can't have revisionist history. You can't go back in time and say, oh no, he really wasn't ready for this fight. He shouldn't have stepped up. Now it's bullshit. And let me tell you why it's bullshit. Cass was picking David Morrell to knock out David Benavidez. When I told you that shit wasn't true. Nope. Look at my last video. He didn't knock out the Kalachik Jude and lost 3-4 rounds late. But now he's supposed to knock out the Mexican monster, David Benavidez. Okay. That's not realistic. And I told y'all, individuals operating from that emotional perspective is going to get you caught up making predictions in boxing. It's not a good look. David Morrell called out David Benavidez, said a bunch of crazy shit on the mic, and then got cooked. He had a good showing, but he was not the better fighter on this evening. If you cover the sport of boxing in a digital space, it's time to start being honest about our assessments. There's no way in your right mind you thought a guy who's just going to come and just knock out David Benavidez, who didn't score a knockout in his last bout in the weight. And this is why I said I don't like either one of them operating outside of 168. David Benavidez, for my dismount, tremendous fighter, tremendous warrior, 30-0 currently. I hope he gets an opportunity at Canelo. I don't think it's likely, but one can hope. For David Morrell, one of the key takeaways I have for him is this. There are a lot of things that he cleaned up for this fight. He was not nearly as flat-footed. He moved very well. The high guard, it's a terrible defense against a guy that's going to be bigger and stronger than you with experience and effective counterpunching and combination punching. You have to figure out a way to be more defensively savvy. You gotta be better than that. You got to clean up the defense. But he looks strong. He looks sharp. I think if he goes down to 68 with the preparation he put in for this fight with Benavidez, he's going to be tough to beat. He learned this evening. It's not really a setback. I picked him to lose. It was a good night of fights. Shout out to PBC. Shout out to Al Heyman. Just great work overall. David Benavidez, he's the man. There's no getting around it. I want to see him be more mindful of his weight moving forward because it's going to be, it just gives him an advantage. Right now, he's looking pretty tough to beat. We got to see what Canelo does in May. The Terrence Crawford stuff's rumored for late in September. I don't really know how I feel about that or if I believe it's real or not. I don't know if that fight happens, but David Benavidez is the man for right now. This is your boy, JG. This has been the Punch Report. Did you check out the fights? Did you see their card? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section, and we out.